Hello guys, welcome to our programming tips. In this video we will learn about dplyr, and I am setting a new playlist wherein we will only talk about functions which are present in dplyr package. This is an amazing package which does calculations very fast and is one of the recommended packages if you are looking for data manipulation. Okay, so let's see how to install this package. We can use install.packages, and you can say dplyr the package name and dependency is equal to true to install the packages. Once you have installed the packages, you will need to load the packages, this particular package, and you can use either require or library function to load the package. So let me load the package by making use of library path, and you can see that my console is on the right hand side. It's not below the notepad. Before we go forward, I need a data set, so I'm gonna read this data set which is called as college. And you can see I have given couple of arguments here. This is the path where the file is, and I said header is equal to true because there are column names in my data set. It's a comma separated file, that's why I have given separator as comma, and I'm saying strings as factor is equal to true because I want all the categorical variables to be converted into factor in this particular when I read this file. It's not really required right now because I'm not going to do any data manipulations which require factors. It's just that I prefer converting the categorical variables whenever I read the file to factors. Let's see how my file looks. I'm using str function. You can see that I have got 777 observations and 19 variables, and there were two variables which were factor variables which have been converted into factor variables. Basically these were the categorical variables which we had. Because we have observation 777 and we see the college names are 777, so this is definitely one of the unique variables. And apart from that, we have, I guess, 18 different variables. Now the very first thing I'm going to show you is the names which we have. We can also see the names here, but this is a better view for now. So there are some 19 variables, and these are the names of these variables. So the first function which we will learn today from dplyr is called as the select function. Very important function. This function basically helps you to select the variables which you want in your data set. You can look at it as a subsetting of a variable or of a data set based upon your columns. Okay, not on the rows. So based upon the columns, you want to keep certain columns and you don't want to keep certain ones. So let's see how to use this function select. It's a very simple syntax. You say select and then you mention your dataset name. In our case, I read the file in an R object which is named as college. So this is the college, my dataset. Right now it's a data frame. So select your dataset name and then you start mentioning the variables which you want in your dataset. Okay, so you have college name. I'm taking college name private and apps and enroll. And when I say run this, and I'm going to show you the names on the new dataset, you can see that these are the names in my new dataset. You can also view the dataset and you can see that these are the variables which I actually mentioned. So you can see it's very simple. Now you can use select function in many different fashions. For example, let's say you want to rearrange your columns. It's very easy with select function. Let's say I don't want college name to be the first column. I want apps to come first and then the enrolls and then the college names and then the private. It's very simple. All you need to do is give the names of the columns in the order you want them to appear in your new data set. So if I run this, I say names, you can see now apps, enroll and college name and private are coming first compared to the other one. Okay, you can again view the data set. So you can see we have apps, enroll, college name and private. Now it's not always that you're gonna give the names. Let's say if your dataset has got 60 odd variable names and you want to keep few of them or you want to delete few of them, then sometimes it's a better idea to mention the variables which you want to drop, because the number of variables which you want to drop is lesser compared to the number of variables which you want to have in your data set. So in these cases you can simply mention negative sign in front of the variable name, and when you mention the negative sign, these are the variables which will be dropped from your data set. So let's see, and if I do this and I write I show you the names, you can see that these variables are not present because I have dropped these variables from the data set, and only the variables which I have not mentioned here are present in the final data set. If you can use it because we are giving negative in front of everything, every variable, you can also mention negative in front of the concatenate list which you want to provide, and this will result exactly into the same output. Uh, Another way of giving column names is that, let's say if you want to give all the column names between, or you want to select all the column names between college names and PhD variables. So you don't have to mention, it's a tedious task to mention all the names. If you want to avoid that, you can simply make use of a colon function here, colon symbol here actually. You can say select college between college.name variable and PhD variable. So when you give colon, it selects all the variables which comes between these two variables. So if I do names again, you can see that between college and PhD I have selected all the variables. So from here to here it selects all the variables which you can see here in the output. If you can select the variables like this, you can also delete the variables in the same manner. All you need to do is you need to mention a negative sign, and you mention college name colon PhD. So all the variables, because I've given negative sign here, will be dropped from the data set college. And I'm gonna run this, and then if we do names and sub college, you can see that only the variables which we had after PhD are available because we have given a negative sign here, and rest of the variables got deleted. Okay, now the another question here is that it's not always we're going to use the name of the variable to select the variables. You can also mention, we can also select the variables by giving the index numbers of your columns or your variables. For example, I want to select first index column, second, third, fourth, sixth, seventh, ninth, and so on. So I said say select college, and then you just start mentioning the index numbers which you want. So if I again show you, you can see it has selected only those index numbers. So we have selected first, second, third, which is college name, private apps, and then we went to the sixth one, which is top 10 percentiles, then 25 percentiles, and we have the ninth, which is post undergraduates. Yes. uh, Again the same thing, if you want to delete by mentioning the column index, you just have to mention the negative sign in front of that, and you can see the results. You see it has deleted all the variables. Other way could be, an easy way to save certain time will be to pass them in the concatenate list as a numeric list and mention the negative sign in front of that. So again we will have the exact same results. Okay, as I told you that it's not just in the when you're giving the column names, you can provide colon. You can also do the same. You can provide the column and mention the column index that 4 to 8 you want to delete, or you want to select. So exactly same way, this is what I'm doing. I'm saying I want to keep the from college data set from 4th column to 8th column, I want to keep all the columns. So if I do names of the column, you can see that from 4th to 8 all the columns have been selected. So my 4th column was except, so, and so on. Yes, I can delete these columns in the same fashion. You can see that we have deleted these columns, are not present in this final output. So this is very simple, right? It's pretty easy to read the column names or keep the column names which you are interested in. By mentioning, you can do that by either mentioning the names of the variables or mentioning the column index. So all you need to do is you need to say select your database name, and then either you can mention the column index or the column names. Okay. Another best use of, probably not the very best use, but you can certainly use select statement to change or rename your variable. Okay, so for example, in this data set you can see that my name for college name, the name is college.name, and I want to change this name. I don't want it to be college.name. Let's say I want it to be uh, call name, college name, like this. Okay, which I have, the one I have highlighted. So in that case, it's very simple. You say the dataset name, you give the name which you want to give, and say equal to and the way or the column name which you want to give this name, and then you can start mentioning the variables or the column names which you are interested in keeping. So if I run this and I say names, you can see certainly that column.names variable is now renamed to call.name. Now honestly speaking, using select statement to rename the variables is not a good idea. Reason being, when we use select statement, what select statement does is it drops all the variables except the ones which you have given after your database name. So that means that if you just want to change one name, then what will happen in this, if I run this command again, so what I have done is I am just giving the one name which I wanted to rename, and if I give you the names, you will see that because I have only mentioned one variable, all other variables are dropped, and I only have one variable in my dataset. Uh, so that's why this if you want to rename, I don't recommend using the select statements, but however I wanted to show you that you can certainly change the names of your columns or the variables by using select statement as well. For rename, we have another function in the same package which is called as rename. Pretty easy, exactly same use as the select statement. So what you used to do is you have to say rename, give the college name, and then mention the one variable which you want to change the name, or the other variables which you want to change the name, and then just I'm creating a new dataset, new college name here. So I'm saying rename. From this dataset, I want to rename this variable, and I'm giving it a new name as call names. So if I run this and I show you the names, you can see that this variable has been renamed. You can also do view and say new call name, and let's run this. So you can see that the variable name now is coming as college name here. There's no dot in there. I have changed the name by making use of rename function. This is all I wanted to cover in this particular tutorial. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. dplyr is a very powerful package. I will recommend that you start using it, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching this video. Happy learning, guys.